The next time you need a haircut, think of the barbershop with a grand tradition. Williams Barbershop. Williams Barbershop, proud to serve the entire community of Eufaula. Come by to our new location, new facilities, and see what it's like to be treated in style at Williams Barbershop in the old JCPenney catalog store. There is another choice for making funeral arrangements. Central Funeral Services, located in Eufaula and Louisville, Alabama, with one-of-a-kind staff, thrives on professionalism and meeting the unique needs of families with a wide variety of services. Owned and operated by the Mixon family. Call 687-1060 or 266-5261. Melissa Mixon Smith, licensed funeral director.
You're watching Gumbo Live, and you look back here, you're back home now. I look back at the bread bucket, and I have with me a very special guest today, second time around.
Yes, sir.
We have the sheriff of Barber County, Mr. Leroy Shaw. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me say this to start off. First of all, I have no trouble getting you. You always call back.
Yes.
You know, I appreciate that. So for those who may have trouble, I don't have no trouble getting you. And I ain't nobody special, but I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And I called you. You said yes, and here we are.
Yes, sir.
And I want you to know I really appreciate that. Let me ask you this. Let's start off. I don't like to deal with rumors. But sometimes rumors can kill. You know, the best way to deal with a rumor is with facts.
Sure.
You know, what is the policy? What is the policy for ministers to visit to do? What is the policy for that? Do you have an idea?
They have to come in and request to be a minister. I mean, request to come to see the inmates.
Mm-hmm.
Never have I ever turned down a minister coming to jail.
Okay. So if somebody's saying that, they ain't gonna do. Now let me ask you this here: Can a minister come just to visit, or they got to be one specific person to come involved?
They can come and see the whole block, or however they want to do it.
Okay.
I mean, it just depends on what the particular person wants to do.
Okay.
We've had them come in to see one particular person, or maybe just 2 or 3 people, or the whole jail. They've had them come see the whole jail.
Okay.
I've never, and no, to my knowledge, none of my employees have ever said no to a minister coming to jail, because I believe that the inmates are only going to get better through Jesus.
Okay.
And if I can help them that way, that's the way we want to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you, and we hear it straight from the sheriff itself. All your ministers that said that rumor was that there was a little list out there. If you wasn't on that list, you couldn't go, and that minister had been turned around.
I've never turned down a minister coming to jail. But now we have had some that wanted to come on different days, and we might not be able to allow that. There may be some security risk, or court, or whatever reason. Now some days they're not allowed. Some days they just can't come.
Because of what you're doing.
Right, because of what's going on in jail.
Okay, let's talk about this. And let's get this out of the way. According to the paper a few weeks ago, there was some escaping.
That's correct.
Something somebody did not do, or
no? What it was the female block was out of the exit. It's a little small enclosed area with basically a chain link fence and barbed wire on top of the fence. During the time they were outside taking a break, or exercise break, or just getting some air, 2 of them decided they were going to climb over the fence. They climbed over the chain link fence and over the barbed wire, and took off on foot.
okay. Now let me ask you this here: when they escaped, how did when I say you're not talking about the department or whoever was working. How did you find out that they had escaped?
The jailer alerted. Actually, I think she called Clayton PD first, because that's the closest agency to us, and put it over the radio that 2 had gotten out.
Now, how did the jailer know? That's what I'm trying to get at.
She observed them going over the fence on camera.
Okay, so everything is on camera. So everything is on camera.
She observed them going over the fence, called immediately. Of course, they took out on foot, and Clayton PD did an excellent job. I have to commend those Officer Bowen and Officer Hamrick. They cordoned off the area best they could with just 2 men to start with until we got get there. And you know, if they had a ride waiting on them, which they didn't that we know of,
You could have got away.
they could have got away. They didn't have a ride, and if they had had one, the Clayton media was there so fast that I don't believe they would have gotten in the car.
So it wasn't like that they was out for hours and hours at a time, and the community was in a danger, anything like that.
No, they were only out from the time they got out to the time they were put placed back in the jail. It was about an hour. They were only approximately a half a mile from the jail, located about a half a mile from the jail.
Half a mile. Now, when was the last time, not count this time, that you ever had an escape from that jail?
It's a good question. I don't remember the most.
So that's not a common occurrence. That's not a common
No.
occurrence. All right, now let's talk about this. Let's talk about this, if you don't mind. Let's talk about the physical condition of the jail.
Sure.
And I want to talk about it from three different perspectives. I want you to tell us what it is, tell us who responsibility it is, and if something is wrong, where the money comes from to correct what is wrong.
Okay, the jail was built and populated in 1996. I was actually working there as a jailer when it was populated. Anytime you have that many inmates coming out of the jail, in and out for that many years, there's going to be problems. They're always tearing stuff up. They're always, plugging things down the toilets and trying to flood the cells and tearing up everything, tearing up the mattresses,
Right,
everything.
yeah.
So it's a constant problem maintaining the jail. We're not, the sheriff department, my employees are not responsible for preparing the jail. That falls on the county commission. The only thing we do is, say the dryer goes out, or something leak in the kitchen sink, or anything like that, we put in a work order to the county commission.
Okay.
The county administrator.
Now you've been my guest before, so sometimes I'll just something hit my cut off.
Okay.
So I think it's very important that we talk about two things. If whatever shape the jail is in now is because of normal wear and tear and abuse by the prisoners.
That's right.
And it's not the department responsibility to repair or fix any of the wear and tear. Is that correct?
That falls on the county commission. The only thing we can do is put in a work order for it to be repaired. And it's at the county commission, because the county commission funds the sheriff department and the jail, and it's up to them, it falls on them, it's their responsibility to repair the jail. They have to find the funds to do that. Now, in the past, years ago, the current revenue commissioner was our maintenance man for the county. He was there on a daily basis fixing things as they tore up. And then when he got elected, they hired someone else. For whatever reason, that person's not there anymore. Now they don't have a county maintenance man.
So that is as we sit here right now on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, there's nobody to do maintenance at the jail?
What they have to do is, what I understand they've been doing is contracting the maintenance out to different people. If something reported, when we report something wrong, they hire somebody to come in and fix what's wrong.
Okay, now bear with me. I'm going to ask a question, and I'm not sure how to frame it. Is there a slot anywhere, either under your department or the county commission, for a maintenance person for the jail? As far as you know.
I really can't answer that because I don't know if they still have one. All I can tell you is they used to. They used to have a position for a county maintenance man. Now whether or not they do now, I don't know.
Now,
But we don't have one as a sheriff.
Okay. Now that could be that just from my little thinking. Seems like to me a maintenance for the jail by itself would be a full-time job.
Sure is. Yeah. The maintenance man, like I said, back when Marshall Williams was maintenance man, he was not only responsible for the jail, but the courthouses and everything else too. So the county maintenance man would not only have to fix, if something was wrong with the jail, he might be there, then he have to go to the Eufaula courthouse or the Clayton courthouse and fix that too.
Okay, so now, so let's try, and I'm going to ask you something that's probably unfair to you, and but now I've been trying to get with the county commissioner, and the president promised me an interview. But now, so as far as you know, you put your request in, and then they have to bid it out.
That's their process. I don't know. I'm assuming that's correct. And I would think they would have to bid whatever job it was out to someone, unless could be a clogged toilet. I wouldn't let him, I'm sure it's got to go over a certain amount, but I'm not the person to be asking about that.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. If your dealer call you and tell you right now, so we got 2 clogged toilets. I know if my toilet clogged at my house, that's a first class emergency. Me. You know what I'm saying? So what happens? What happens if the dealer called you, or your dealer administrator, whatever title it is, I don't know, called you and said, we got 2 clogged toilets right now. But purpose, don't make a difference.
I would tell my jail administrator, look at it and see if it's something he can fix real quick to get it fixed. If it's something, if he called me back and told me he couldn't fix it, I would tell him immediately to call the county commissioner, advise him what the problem was, and tell him we need it fixed.
Now you know that kind of stuff never happened on decent working hours.
No, never, no.
Okay, but now, you may tell your administrator to do that, but that's not really your administrator's job.
It is his job to put in the work order.
Okay, but I'm saying, if he called you and you said, see if he can fix it.
Yeah, that's not his job.
That's not his job to do that.
No. But we can fix it and solve the problem real quick, we will.
Sure, that makes good sense, but what you said makes good sense, and I know we appreciate it. I probably wouldn't, if I was the jailer that you asked to fix it, I probably wouldn't appreciate it, but now, an operation like that, an operation like the jail, seems to me there ought to be a 24-hour call person for stuff like that, because people that you take in the jail ain't happy folks. I mean, they're not shouting and clapping their hands. You understand what I'm saying? They're angry.
That's right.
And the least little thing that they can do to make y'all uncomfortable, they're gonna do that.
Sure.
And tear up something is the easiest thing to do.
That's their way of getting back at us.
Yeah, and it seems like to me, now that's just me thinking, it seems like, and I think that, and I always tell my listeners that we're gonna be very informative. And I think that our listeners ought to be concerned about the fact that you're operating a jail with no maintenance person. Am I saying that correctly?
To my knowledge, there's no maintenance man now.
Now, and you said something else now. You said something just now. You said that the county commissioners are responsible for whatever monies that the jail needs to operate.
That's right.
Okay.
It comes, the maintenance of the jail is, they have a budgeted item for a certain amount of money for maintenance for the jail. And it's up to them to see about getting that fixed.
Now let me ask you this here. On the current paper that came out today, on the front page, the county commission is getting ready to access for some tax.
Correct.
And they said the tax is going to be to get equipment for the sheriff department and to give the deputies a raise.
Correct.
Is this something that y'all sit down together and did, or?
I wasn't involved in the actual making of the bill. I did know what they were trying to do. And of course, anything to get my employees raised, I was all for. I haven't read the bill they've got, they're presented yet. So before I would endorse something like that, of course I want to read it.
Sure. But let me ask you this here. On that same paper, what they have a comparison of what you follow the city schools and the areas around us, their salaries. How do your deputies compare to Dale County, Houston County, Russell County? That's the county that's around us. Did I miss any?
That's the ones that are surrounding us. They're paid lower than all those deputies.
So now, if you hire a deputy tomorrow, you're responsible for training that deputy?
It depends. You would have, of course, you have on the job training. You have to have him ride with someone, learn the county, learn what to do, learn everything like that about the county. If you hire an already certified officer, he's already gone through the academy. That saves you some money. However, when you hire somebody already certified and you're paying the least amount in the area, he gets a higher paying job immediately.
Well, that's why I was actually going with that, because I'm trying to see if you got the same problem that our local fire department has. Our local fire department invests money in training folks.
Yeah.
And no sooner than they get trained,
right?
Because the salary is so low, then they gone.
That's the advantage of sending one to the academy for us. If we hire an uncertified officer and we send him to the academy, we pay his salary while he's there, and we pay for everything while he's there, he's obligated to us for 2 years. He has to work for the Barber County Sheriff's Office for 2 years. After that 2 years is up, he can go work wherever he wants.
But he gotta stay there 2
But
years.
he's got to stay there 2 years. The only other option is to say we did that, we sent somebody to the academy, and a year out, you follow comes up and says we want to hire him. They've got to pay us back whatever the county commission decides to spend on that option.
Okay.
So that gets reimbursed, and they can still hire him.
Okay.
But I just recently I had one just for just about 2 years to the day. As soon as the 2 years was up, he gone, you follow.
Now let's talk about this real quick. When I remember when we talked about the election, you talked to us, and I thank you for that. You're the only person that ran for office, got elected, and still came back and talked to us. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for that. But look, one of the things that we talked about, and you answered it very well, and some people's memory might not remember. But remember we talked about the minorities.
Yeah.
On the force.
Yeah.
And I think you answered that, but let's talk about that again. Let's talk about, and when we talk about minorities, we talk about female, and we talk about minorities by race. How we stand. So, okay, here lately, with everything happening in Ferguson and everywhere, they talk about community policing. And they said that the force ought to look like the same makeup of the community.
Okay.
For instance, if Ferguson was 85% minority, so the police force should have been. How we stand on that from the sheriff's perspective?
I disagree.
Okay.
I think you should hire the most qualified person you can for the job, no matter what race he is.
Well, you said the same thing you said before.
That's right.
At least you said it.
It makes no difference to me what color you are. If you're better qualified and have had no problem in your past as far as criminal acts or been arrested or anything like that, if you're better qualified, you'll get the job. If you're white, it makes no difference to me if you're black, white, Hispanic.
So this study that people come back to this study and saying that the force ought to represent the community. So far as percentage-wise, you understand what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
But you don't agree with that?
I don't agree with it. I mean, if I'm going to go on a long plane flight and there's a highly qualified black pilot and an unqualified white pilot, I want the highly qualified pilot flying my plane.
Okay, what does the back in the bag?
It makes no difference.
Okay, all right. But now, okay, so now to tell us your definition, that's the right word, of community policing. One of the things that they said, when I say they, I'm talking about reports and stuff that I read and studies. So one of the things that the officers ought to get out of their car sometime and just associate with the people in the community. How you feel about that?
That's a great idea. I think it's a tremendous idea if you have the personnel to do that.
Yeah.
Currently, I've only allotted 13 deputy positions. I only have 12 in the field right now.
How many do you really need?
At least double that.
Really?
Yeah, they're constantly on calls now. They're always serving papers, they're always in court, they're always answering a call. It's great if you have you don't have a busy place where you can go stop and get a soda and stop and drink, hang out with everybody. It's great. It's great relations, but a small department like us in one of the biggest counties in the state, it's kind of hard to do.
Okay, now let's talk about that. You say you got 11 and you need about 33. Who determines that? Who determines that all you got is 11? Who determines that?
County Commission.
County Commission.
They set the salary and the number of employees I have.
So you turn in and tell them what you need.
I tell them I need more every time I have a budget here, but I haven't seen the guy on that. The answer is always we don't have the funding, which I agree they don't have the funding, but when it comes to the safety of the community, maybe it's something that should be done to get more funding.
Yeah, I think that too. I think that I'm glad we're talking about this, and I hope I'm not making you feel too uncomfortable. But I think the voters ought to know when you elect folks for office, they got a great responsibility.
Sure they do.
And we ought to have folks that can think out of the box and say, listen, safety is so important. We need to do whatever we can to create funds so the sheriff can operate the way you need to operate.
Sure.
That leads me to this question. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say this.
Go ahead, please.
State law says that the county commission is supposed to adequately fund the sheriff department. Now, their definition of adequate and my definition of adequate are two different things. But in order to, if you adequately fund me, then that should mean that I have enough resources, enough money to hire more officers, to pay them more, so they can make a living. I mean, currently they make $24,000 a year, and they risk their lives every day, and they don't know whether they're coming home tonight or not when they put that badge on. And I don't think $24,000 a year is enough money.
Now, I want to ask you this question, and you know that you have a right to answer anything. Can you tell me and our listening audience, our viewing audience, the relationship between the county commission and the sheriff department, or yourself, whatever you represent the sheriff department.
Right.
So it really has to be your relationship with the county commissioners. And let me say this before you answer. I think it ought to be like a hand in a glove because of the importance. Now, please tell us, sir.
It should be that way. It's not. I'm constantly asking for stuff. They're constantly declining me. In the past, that's how it's been together. And I said, well, if y'all are willing to work with me, then I'm willing to work with y'all. So it's in the recent months or year, it's better than it's been in the past. Instead of getting turned a flat out no every time we ask for something, now they consider it. And when they can, they do.
Now, one of the things that, and we've been dealing with this. We didn't just start dealing with this. And one of the things they kept saying, and I think we even talked about this, that you say you're taking stuff to them, and the president would quickly tell us that you don't never come before the county commission.
No, I don't ever. It's county commission meetings or county commission meetings. It's not a sheriff department meeting.
Okay.
In the beginning, when I became sheriff, I tried to go to some of those meetings, and they didn't turn out too well. There was one in particular in which they tried to belittle me in front of the public, and I decided at that point I wasn't going to it.
Yeah.
If it's something really important, I'll go. Other than that, it's just going to be me sending somebody or me requesting through the proper paper trail, so I'll have a paper trail on what I've been requesting.
Okay, now that's what I was getting ready to ask you. How you make your requests, how you make your things known. I guess that would actually fall into the administrator. I guess that wouldn't even have to be you. There would be no need for you to go, just for a simple request or.
Most of the time, no. It's just sent up to the county administrator, and the county commission decides on what to do with it. Like I said, they've been great recently. I mean, they've helped us out tremendously.
And we would like to think that the fact that we have started some communication. Maybe I think anytime you get people talking, the things will get a little bit better. But you're saying we still got a long way to go.
We do. I mean, this is not just here in Barber County. It's in the sheriff department and county commissions across the state of Alabama. But we used to be all going joke with the sheriffs, and the first thing they teach the county commissioner at their meeting is how to tell the sheriff no.
Yeah.
I understand it because they're responsible for the money. And some sheriffs will be asking for outrageous things if they were getting everything they wanted.
Personal question. Have you met the new sheriff in Houston County?
Yes.
Okay. You know where you're from?
Yeah, I don't know where he's from.
Louisiana, baby.
Really? I knew he wasn't from around here.
Yeah, that's a good sheriff. So now let's talk about this. Let's talk about it was in the paper, and I'm not sure that everybody read it to get an understanding. A fellow requested to get out of the Barber County jail to go to jail in Montgomery.
Yeah, well, his lawyers requested that. Yeah.
Okay, that was requested by his lawyer.
Right. Yeah, his lawyers requested him to be housed in Montgomery Sheriff's Office, jail. It's my understanding in the paperwork it was requested because the lawyers were from Montgomery, and they wanted him closer up there so they could confer with him on it, so they wouldn't have to drive to Barber County to confer.
So it had nothing to do with the jail itself. That was the fact.
Now, on their request, it had nothing to do with the jail.
Okay.
And actually, myself and someone else called the Montgomery County Sheriff and made it, tried to make it go through as quick as we could.
Okay.
Get it moved up there.
Yeah, well, you need to talk to your lawyer.
That's right.
And that's strictly what it was. It's just the fact that, and I think I read one article that actually said that the lawyer wanted them closer to you.
That's right.
Because he operates out of Montgomery.
The lawyers were appointed out of Montgomery, and instead of having to drive down to Barber County every time they needed to confer with them, they requested to be moved up there.
Now, number-wise, where are we number-wise, so far, as how many prisoners you actually housing at this particular moment right now?
I don't know, I didn't check the numbers before I left. We have a 98-bed facility. We're usually at, over 100.
Yeah, that's right.
I just don't know the correct.
Yeah, but we always over.
We always over.
Okay, now, when that happens, are we in violation? If we supposed to hold 93 and we got 103, are we in violation of any laws?
Not to my knowledge. All the prisons and all the jails are overcrowded right now. When we get, we have 130, 140 inmates, and when that happens, I try to figure out ways to move them and bond them out if possible. Beg, borrow, beg people to come bond them out for me and get them out of the jail. It becomes a crowding issue. Anytime you put a large number of people in small areas, it gets more dangerous.
Right, but now, that's true. But now, right now, as we sit here right now, are there any health issues or anything at the jail?
There's always day-to-day health issues. It's a jail. We transport people back and forth across the state every day. Someone might come in with something and pass it along to the inmate, and when we have to see about that, it's always something. That's why, and I commend the county commission, especially for this. For years, I requested a full-time nurse to be at the jail. And they recently hired a company that supplied a doctor and a nurse for the jail. So that's helped with our health issues a lot. She's there, every day.
Oh, okay. So, but now, when we say health issues, we are not saying that something that's caused by the jail itself. There's no mold that's making people sick or nothing like that. So the health issues that you are talking about is somebody passing something on to somebody else. Right. You get folks from everywhere and all kind of conditions.
To my knowledge, there's no health issues concerned with the jail at this moment. It's inherent to the building or the facility itself.
Okay. And is there an outside party, Department of Health, Department of Prisons, or somebody that comes and inspects the jail? And so how?
Department of Corrections comes twice a year and inspects the jail.
Now, do they let you know ahead of time, or do they just pop up?
They just pop up. But I believe it's done every 6 months. We kind of know when they're coming.
Has the Barber County Jail ever failed an inspection that was conducted by, what did you say?
Department of Corrections.
Department of Corrections?
No. Not to my knowledge.
Not since you've been sheriff?
Not since I've been sheriff. If we didn't pass it, they didn't tell me about it.
Okay, all right. So the gloom story that we hear about our jail is not necessarily true.
No, it's a jail. Remind me, it's a jail. When people don't like being in jail, they're going to complain about being in jail.
Sure.
But no, it's actually in better shape than most jails I've been to, besides the new facilities. The new facilities.
Sure.
$1 million facilities, multi-million-dollar facilities are nice. Every day, and I'm joking about this, every day that goes by, I have people calling and requesting their family member is in some other prison or some jail, and they want them to be moved to our jail. And I have to turn them down sometimes. Sometimes I can let them come.
And that's strictly up to you?
No, that's up to the Department of Corrections if he's in prison, and they can send him if they want to. The only time if I request one to come stay with me, then they'll.
But now,
they're overpopulated too.
The decision. If somebody make the initial call to you, that decision start and stop at you and say, okay, yeah, we'll let
The judge can always send somebody to our jail if he wants to have their new time in our jail. Normally, he's going to ask me, if he's got that in mind for someone, he's going to say, Sheriff, so-and-so wants to stay at the jail. What do you think? I don't mind, okay, or I'm full right now. I just got too many people.
Do you have many people waiting to go to the federal court? Do you know?
No.
We don't have that problem. Okay. Okay. Now, what about this? What about televisions and stuff? Is that television in this? I've never been there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask you this, but I've never been there. I've been invited. Matter of fact, your administrator has told me that, and other preachers, that That's why I was surprised to hear that the preacher was being turned down, that we could come up there at any time. I just have no desire to
Yeah.
be honest with you. So do they have television, and is it the common area or what?
There's a TV in each cell block.
In each cell block?
In each cell block, not individual cells, the common area for that particular cell block has a TV. Every one of them.
How many cell blocks you actually have?
It's 5.
5? And so we got, at least 5 TVs, and you probably have got the many rooms separated. And then, so they watch it by, a certain time, or?
A certain time, we cut them on and off. It's up to the inmates how to decide what they're going to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We don't change the channels for them or anything. They do that themselves. I worked in the jail before there were TVs. And, it was kind of rough right then.
Yeah.
They were constantly fighting and arguing.
Sure, TV,
Keeps them occupied.
No, there's the cable.
It's cable.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this here, and again, you may want to check on it. Does Bright House provide you with the cable, or is that something that the county has to pay for?
No, the county has to pay for it.
I know a lot of places, the local cable company will provide,
To my knowledge, the county
pay
pays
for
for
it.
it. Yeah.
If there, all of us got a wish list. All of us got a wish list. What's the top 3 things on your wish list as a sheriff concerning your department?
I would wish for my employees, all of them, my jailers and my deputies, to be paid more, to be paid a wage they could live on. Jailers start out at minimum wage. Deputies $24,000 a year. So that was my main wish, is for more pay for my employees, because they are dedicated people and they risk their lives every day, and I think they deserve better. I guess another wish would be more employees, more deputies.
Let me ask you
Get
this.
more equipment.
Let me ask you this. I remember one time, I think it was like when the county commission meeting, and now help me with this. I understand that when you talk about feeding, 75 cents a day is what you get paid?
So $1.25.
$1.25. And you can feed 3 meals a day at $1.25?
We do the best we can.
Okay, now.
But normally it's free.
Who prepares the food?
Inmates prepare.
The inmates prepare the food. Okay.
In our system here in Barber County, I'm allotted $1.25 a day from the state to feed them. So the mean high feed them. You only have to supply them a certain number of calories a day. I believe it's 1,200 calories a day you have to give each inmate. I might be incorrect about that.
Okay.
I think that's right. We normally feed them 3 times a day. And in the event that the money runs out and there's no food, then I'm responsible personally for buying the food to feed the jail.
Okay, now you said the state gives you, what does the county give you to feed inmates?
No.
Nothing. So all the responsibility of feeding the inmates is the money you getting from
The state.
the state. And the state is only concerned about calories. They're not concerned about what you feed.
Right.
That's why they give you such a low amount of money
$1.25 a day
a day
per inmate.
per inmate. Now look, we in the red. Right now.
You can't buy anything for $1.25.
I'm looking back there. I'm trying to see. We get a bacon. We get a bacon down
If we tell a story like that, these places are going to be packed.
But I really, we laughing about that. But if you given meat and if you was feeding my wife, you gotta get her something to drink. Every time she get something, she wants something to drink. Are we giving a balanced meal to each inmate at $1? What you said, $1.25?
$1.25. A balanced meal?
Or is that not our concern?
Well, we try to balance it. We try to make, give them meat and bread and vegetable. Many times as we can. Of course, some days it's just not going to happen. At the end of the month, money runs out. We try to make it last.
So good egg and bacon for breakfast, that's out.
Every day? Yeah, that's out.
Well, I was trying to go to jail, baby. I got me some good egg and bacon.
But, they don't go hungry while they're there. I mean, most of them gain weight while they're there, to be honest with you. When they're out on the street. You know, we have a lot of people dependent on drugs and alcohol that are in our jail. When they're out on the street, they're not concerned about it. When they're in the jail, they actually end up gaining weight.
Now, you said something that I really want to talk about, and I'm getting ready to let you go, but you said that if the state give me $1,000, and I've been about all the food at the end of the month, then I got to be responsible. But you personally got to be responsible for feeding.
Right, out of my personal account. That's correct.
And the only people that give you money to feed the prisoners is the state.
State.
All right. All right. That. A lot of things don't make sense to me.
Like I said, most months is short. You know, some months you'll end up with a few $100s extra or whatever. And you just keep that for the next month when you're short.
So so the meal does not change very much then.
No.
Probably,
Pretty much the same.
every Monday, you got peanut butter and jelly
That's
sandwich.
correct.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting.
No, what about holidays? What about holidays?
In the past, some of the businesses have have donated stuff, like turkeys and things like that, to feed and help they donated. Mr. Dean Arnold donated turkeys for not only the jail, but the jail to have a good meal, but for each deputy got a turkey also. So that helps out. They can donate things like that.
Okay, so that can be done.
It can't be done. It can't be. Years ago you used to be able to bring your deer or whatever you've killed up there and you can feed it, but you can't do that. Everything's got to go through USDA. So when you donate 30 turkeys, go to Walmart, pick up from wherever.
So we can't. Now let me ask you this here. Let's say the church wanted to cook up a whole bunch of meals and bake up a whole bunch of cakes and cookies. Can we bring food already cooked in?
We have, but that happened in the past on holidays. Of course, there's always somebody that ruins it for everybody else. They try to sneak something in, so we kind of curtail that.
Okay.
We've had instances where they try to stick things in the cake, stick things in the food.
Yeah. I thought that was just on TV. So the best thing for us to do, on holidays especially, is just to bring whatever we want to donate and let inmates cook.
That's the best. I would advise that. When we try to feed on, like on holidays, and Christmas and Thanksgiving, we try to give them good meals, everything that we would eat out here. But a lot of us don't, like turkeys and things.
Sure. Now we have to clear that through you. How much in advance do we have to tell you that we wanna? And I guess the more advanced, the better. So when you're making out your schedule.
The more advanced, of course, would be the better. But if you're going to donate a bunch of turkeys to cook, you tell me to be there tomorrow to get them, I'm going to be there tomorrow. Yeah. We had that also in the VFW, also donated a bunch too.
So now, is there a place or refrigeration? You have refrigeration and stuff there?
Yeah, we have a big walk-in cooler and a big walk-in freezer. We buy all I have to go to Montgomery and buy all the food.
You got to go buy it in Montgomery?
Right. The state facility up there sells it a little cheaper to the county jails, so we send our jail administrator goes every month and picks up.
Oh, so that's a state-owned facility?
Right.
Where you get the food from?
Right. The bulk items. And every month he'll go up there and pick up whatever we order up.
Well, it seems like to me it makes sense to the state to give you more money since they're getting it back anyway.
Makes more sense. You gotta, I understand. I see $1.25 of the day makes no sense to me. I think that's way too cheap. You can't feed them on that, not feed them right. But you got to think of big places that have 1,000 inmates. How much money you're spending a day?
Yeah. But let's do this. The last time we talked about the vehicles. Are the vehicles in better shape now than the last time we talked?
We've still got several vehicles that are well over the 200,000 mile mark. They did allow us one new vehicle in the budget this year. We got that one, and so we've got a few new ones from the past. They recently bought us 3 the year before that, so 4 new ones in the last 2 years. But that money is not paid for I mean, those vehicles aren't paid for by the citizens. Some people think their tax money pays for that. That don't. That's paid for through the pistol permit money that we bring in by selling pistol permits.
So now the paper said that if we pass this tax, they're gonna use that to buy vehicles.
That's what I understand. I haven't read the bill yet.
But that's not normal? The kind of normal that don't buy vehicles for the sheriff department?
Not in Barber County. The money comes from the pistol permit money.
Well, you must be selling a lot of pistol permits.
We sell a lot, but we don't get very many cars either.
Now, what's the price of a pistol permit?
You can buy them by one, 3 or 5 years, and they're just $20 a year.
You'd have to sell a whole lot of permits to get one vehicle, to get a set of tires.
That's right. And the pistol permits used to be $15, and out of that, when that deal, the $15 went strictly for buying vehicles. They added on the $5 and made it $20, and out of that $5 is for vehicle maintenance and for the purchase of new vehicles. That's how it was. That was how it was put in the bill. So whatever pistol permit money comes in goes to buy vehicles for us.
I expect you to answer this, but I want to look one day and see what you're averaging a month or a year on pistol permits, how much money you're actually taking in.
I would have to.
I realize that. Because
I would advise everybody that's qualified to go out and get a concealed carry permit. I mean, Alabama's an open carry state, carry it openly.
Right.
But once you put it in the vehicle, it becomes concealed. So I would advise everybody.
Let's talk about that. Because I've been confused. By that ever since that law came out. Now, one law enforcement person said that has always been open carry in Alabama. Always been open carry.
My knowledge has.
Now, that means I can walk in right here with my gun, as long as it's visible.
As long as it's visible.
Without a permit.
Right.
And if I put it in my car, I got to have my bullets and my gun separated, and then I'm legal. Is that yes or no?
I would say it'd be, like I said, it's up to each officer's interpretation of it, but it needed to be locked away somewhere where you couldn't reach it for it to be legal.
Oh, really?
Without the pistol permit. Yeah.
So if I got my 22 rifle on my back seat, that's illegal?
Pistol.
What about my rifle?
No law governing a rifle. You can have that in your car.
I can have a loaded.
Well, some people will give you problems about having a loaded rifle on the highway because most police officers are probably like me. They're going to look and say, we live in the rural community.
Yeah.
There's not very many people that don't run around with a rifle or a shotgun in their vehicle.
But now, if I get stopped for speeding or whatever they stop me for, and my 22 rifle is on my back seat loaded, can I be charged for that?
I've never known of a case that happened. Being charged. That don't mean somebody that hadn't happened. I'm not trying to say somebody got arrested there.
But now my pistol's sitting back there, loaded, and I don't have a permit.
You can be
arrested.
arrested.
Know that I can be arrested for that.
That's right.
Okay.
And the people will argue, they'll say, well, what if it's on my dash, or what if it's, sitting on my seat? It's still illegal to be in that vehicle. Because it take me 2 seconds, or half a second to get it off the seat, and put it under my leg or under my seat.
Right. Okay.
So once it becomes in that vehicle, it becomes illegal.
Yeah. I always wonder about it, because I read sometimes when people got stopped for something, then they got arrested for having a vehicle. Having a weapon in their vehicle. And I said, wait a minute, this open carry.
Not once it gets in that car.
So anywhere where there's not a sign that says no weapons can be brought in here, you can bring a weapon in.
My knowledge, that's how it goes. That's how the law reads. Now, they have the right to come and tell you to leave.
Sure.
It's just a business or whatever. Sure.
All right. Well,
to prefer, just me, I'd rather have the pistol in my pocket, and that way the bad guy doesn't know I am armed. Because if I walk in to rob somebody and I look and see somebody with one on their hip, he's the first person I'm going to shoot. If he doesn't know I'm going to rob the place.
Yeah. That's been a good argument back and forth, because some people say that the fact that you see a weapon that deters a lot.
That's the opposite side of the argument.
Yeah, that's an argument back and forth on that one.
And you'll have people say one way, or some pro-gun guys going to disagree with me.
Yeah.
That's just my personal opinion.
I just think constitution-wise, but this is me thinking, that you ought to be able to carry a weapon any way you want to carry it. Concealed or unconcealed. Because the right to bear arms, that's all I'm talking about. And that's in my little knowledge of the Constitution right there. You know what I'm saying? And I think that too many people influence, you know,
That's right.
get into our right. But listen,
If they start restricting the Second Amendment, it's just a matter of time for them to start restricting it so tight,
Sure.
you're not gonna have the Second Amendment.
right, that's right.
I'm pro Second Amendment all the way.
Yeah, but you know, because the person that's gonna do wrong,
That's right.
and they're gonna find a way around. They're gonna find a way around the law.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I just think that I don't want to be caught short. And somebody decide they want to do me something, I want to have a fighting chance.
You know, I grew up ever since I was able to hold a gun, carry a gun. I mean, pretty much everywhere I went. You know, we used to. I graduated Eufaula High School. There wasn't a day that went by I didn't have a loaded gun in the vehicle.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big deal back then. Everybody did.
Sure.
We went deer hunting after school. I mean,
Yeah.
now it's a big thing. So.
Yeah. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let you have the last word. And I want to thank you again. You know, as things get rolling, I'd like for you to come back and we'll sit down and talk again. And you know, y'all see him. I have no trouble getting it. Now, some people say they don't ever see you, so what kind of wave at them? Let them know.
They probably see me and don't know who they're looking at.
Yeah. But I thank you, sir, and I give you the last word. You've been watching Gumbo Live with our special guest, the sheriff here in Barber County. What term is this? What term is you on now? Second term, third term?
This is my third term.
Third term. All right. You know we tied there.
9 years is sheriff.
9 years.
As sheriff.
As sheriff. Okay. All right. Come on. You got the last word. You tell us whatever you want.
I just want to thank everybody for taking the time out to listen to me, and you know, I know some of them won't agree with everything I said. That's okay. That's part of it. And I just want to appreciate it, and I want to thank the people of Barber County, in all walks of life, for everything they do. And God bless you all.
Thank you. If you got any questions for the sheriff, if you got any comments that you'd like to make about this program, I always tell you, just drop it off at the bread basket, and whatever questions you got, I'll be more than happy to get it to him. And if we get enough stuff that we need to talk about, you heard him say it, come back. So you're watching Gumbo Live. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it, man. Tell your wipe that off from here.
Will.
The next time you need a haircut, think of the barber shop with a grand tradition. Williams Barber Shop. Williams Barber Shop, proud to serve the entire community of Eufaula. Come by to our new location, new facilities, and see what it's like to be treated in style at Williams Barber Shop in the old JCPenney catalog store. There is another choice for making funeral arrangements. Central Funeral Services, located in Eufaula and Louisville, Alabama. With one-of-a-kind staff, thrives on professionalism and meeting the unique needs of families with a wide variety of services. Owned and operated by the Mixon family. Call 687-1060 or 266-5261. Melissa Mixon Smith, licensed funeral director.